Hi guys. I wanted to well, first of all, um let you know that I did figure out the live stream thing. So I feel kind of stupid about it, but I actually did get some help getting it figured out and set up, and I made some improvements to my Wi-Fi. So I think it's gonna work, and I'm thinking that we could do something tomorrow, which would be Sunday, January, I think 28th. And I'm thinking like later on in the day, like around 3 or 4. So, Laura, thank you for your help today. That was cool. I did like a little test stream earlier today, and she was super helpful. Um, you know, I mean, maybe she didn't do a lot, but she kind of gave me some feedback. So, thank you for that. Trying to figure out how to maybe you guys can help me with this tomorrow if anybody comes and to hang out. But I need to be able to appoint like moderators and stuff like that, so that in the chat we can make sure everything is running smooth and there aren't any issues or whatever. So I need to be able to do that because yeah, can't watch like the chat 100% when you're like streaming. So anyways, I have been working on a whole bunch of stuff, like trying to, oh boy, I need some more stuff on my Etsy shop. I need some more journals, and I've got all of these book covers and stuff that I've been kind of prepping and tearing apart pages and things like that, trying to get myself organized and sort of de-stashing a little bit. But so I wound up with like this gigantic sort of pile of covers that are all kind of ready to fill. And honestly, like, this is how I like to work. I like to have a lot of options at all times. So these are all books that, well, some of these I've had for a little while, but most of these are the books that I've shown you guys recently, and just basically reinforce the spine with some kind of canvas or fabric or whatever. So yeah, so I've got all of these covers that are ready to turn into journals. And I'm pretty excited about these little guys. Excuse me. This is the little tiny Latin English dictionary that I've had for quite a while. And it's like one of my favorite old little books. And so I'm going to turn this into like a little mini junk journal. And who knows, maybe someone will get it for their birthday or something. But and then this little guy, this is the little Shakespeare book that I got at the thrift store. And then this one is like the businessman's handbook, and I just thought it was a cool little book. So let me move that just a little bit. I don't know if the view or the angle is right on here, and my hands are covered with ink and stuff like that as usual because I've been kind of prepping some other covers. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you guys those, and I'm just kind of like in the stage where I'm like just gathering stuff, for journals, and I'm sure you guys do the same thing. So just kind of gathering materials and making tags and figuring out what kind of pages I want to use in some of these. These are some older covers that I've had for a while that I want to make into journals too. So here's a couple that, or at least, yeah, here's a couple that are done with the Crackle paste, and haven't used them yet, but this one's a little smaller. I kind of like it. And then this one, this is an old math book. So I just did the crackle paste on the cover of this. And I do, after I do the application with the crackle paste and then I stain it and stuff, I do seal it with just like a clear coat. So it's pretty sturdy. Like, I imagine if I took it and I just went crack like that and kind of like, bent it real hard, it probably would, crackle off of there. But I don't know if anybody's going to necessarily do that with their journal. So I think they're just fine. So I thought since I have some pieces that I've applied the crackle paste to, I thought I would just kind of show you guys how I do the staining. But before that, so a lot of the time the book covers that where the spine is not in super good shape, or if here, let me show you this one. That. So then also, like, if there's a book like this where the spine is, if it's a pretty thin little book, but, we all know that we like to make these, junk journals pretty fat. So for the most part, sometimes I don't, but, so this one, I just was using it as an example. I want to maintain the cover of this, so, but it is a little bit too thin, so I'm probably going to wind up cutting that out and then building a new spine for that one. Trying to find one that I've done that with real quick, because I just did one. 1 second. Okay, like this one. So this is actually a Reader's Digest, but I just rebuilt the spine on this one with some heavy mat board and canvas on both sides. So just made that a little bit thicker. So I'm planning to do that with this one too, and some of the other old books that I have. So anyways, that was kind of what happened with this one, and plus it's, it was pretty beat up, but I like that it's a canvas cover, and so it'll show some of that texture, So basically what I did on these is on this one and then also on this one is I just went around the edges with some ink gold, and I did that so that I'm going to put the crackle paste on over that, so you'll be able to see that coming through a little bit. And so I did that little book, and then this one I just did gold around the edges of this one. So, and this is the book that I've been using a lot of the images out of, but I don't know, I just thought the cover was kind of meh. So I think I'm going to do crackle paste on this, although I did think about doing just like some decoupage or something on there, but I don't know, I kind of like the idea of doing the crackle paste and then maybe even doing some decoupage over the crackle paste with some flowers, images or something. So, and then I just have, these are just a couple pieces of, why do I always forget what this stuff is called? Anyway, it's like mat board, but I want to call it tag board, but I know it's not what it is, and I know what it is, but I can't remember. Anyway, so these are just like some books that I took apart, and like, I think just like journals, like, random journals from the thrift store. So, and then I'm going to crackle paste the cover of this one. I kind of like this cover, but I don't know. It's not that exciting to me, so I'm going to crackle paste this one too. Anyway, so I just thought I would kind of show you guys my process in doing that. And so I used the golden crackle paste. I just I've used a couple other brands, and I just really like the way it I like the way it works. So it's it dries relatively quickly. You do have to let this stuff sit for for a while. It works best if you have time to let it actually dry for a couple of days, and then you really get the best crackle. Also, it works best in a relatively thin application. So, you know, I'd recommend using a palette knife to just really try to get it smooth. And it doesn't necessarily have to be super smooth, but I mean, relatively. It depends on what kind of look you want, you know. If you want to leave a little bit of, you know, texture in it, like on the cover, it'll dry that way, and you'll definitely be able to see it, you know. Like, I mean, you could make some like intentional little textures and things like that, and just kind of leave that on there. And then, you know, you can definitely see them coming through. I don't know, it's hard to show that on the camera, but see, you can kind of see those little divots and stuff in there. So I sometimes do that just because it looks really neat when you do the ink. It has a tendency to kind of settle in those little grooves and stuff. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do the other half of this real quick. And you know what? This is not the palette knife I normally use because I forgot I had this one out already. Anyways, so generally about that much is enough to do a piece about this size. You know, and I try to spread it pretty thin because then it just gives you the best crackle effect. So, and a little bit more, I guess. And it has a horrible smell. Well, I actually kind of like the smell, but some people might not like the smell. I have a couple of journals that one of them's actually in my Etsy shop right now, but yeah, this one also. So this one, I actually had done a texture on it with like a stencil, you know, with texture paste, and then I went over it with, I didn't really like how it turned out, so I went over that with Crackle paste, and so the Crackle paste kind of settled in to that texture a little bit, and so it's kind of a flower pattern. You can sort of see it there, and you can see how it's kind of like shiny right on that. Anyways, I like the way that oh, I put Inca Gold over the texture paste first, so you can see like the green right there, and then the texture paste over, or then the Crackle paste over that, and you can kind of see it coming through. So like this side, see how the crackles are really teeny tiny on there? This is really, really thin. How I put this on here is super thin, but over here it's a little bit thicker. So they're like bigger, like pieces. It's sort of like if you think about like an eggshell, you know. So this happened to be a little bit thicker, so the crackle like pieces are bigger. So that's kind of what happens. It's fun to use like texture paste and stuff under the Crackle paste. So anywho, that's basically all I've got to say about, you know, applying Crackle paste. This one I'm just gonna kind of smear it on, and then I'm not doing any kind of treatment under it. But this stuff is really fun to use on any kind of like mixed media pieces. I used it on quite a few of my art tiles, and I like using it on small pieces because it's just so interesting. Like when you get up close to it in those art tiles, you have a tendency to want to really look closely at them because there's a lot of like small details in them, and so the Crackle paste really kind of comes through in those smaller applications, you know. So you definitely don't want to, I mean, you definitely want to have your piece kind of cut to whatever size you want it to be ultimately, rather than applying this and then cutting it down later, because you do run the risk of popping it off. It'll like pop off as you're cutting it. So, you know, I want these to be that size ultimately, so I wouldn't, you know, later go back and cut them down. So I'm just gonna put these somewhere out of the way to dry for a couple days, and I just yeah, just kind of forget about them. Hang on one second. One second. All right. So, yeah, that stuff smells really strong, but I don't know what the base is on that, but on that stuff, I don't think it's, maybe it's water based. I'm not really sure what is in it that makes it do that, but makes it crackle like that, but it's kind of fun. So I'll finish these up later on. But so I buy the I usually buy the 16-ounce jar of the crackle paste, and it runs about $18 on Amazon. I can't find it anywhere. Well, that's not true. You can get it at the art supply store, but it's really expensive. So I bought a 16-ounce jar of this on Amazon. It was like $17.95 with Prime, but I saw they had the 32-ounce one for like $28.95. So so I got this size because I felt like, hey, it was, you know, twice as much for about 50% more. So anyway, got a little bit of a shadow from my light up there. I'm gonna try to fix that for future videos or whatever. So basically what I do to dye these is I just get like an old towel and kind of lay it out just to have something to catch water and stuff. And I use the walnut ink crystals. You could, you know, you can use other stuff too, but obviously, but I just like the way that this reacts, and the way it behaves. So they're just like little crystals, you know. It seriously looks like instant coffee. It could be instant coffee, who knows. So basically what I do is I just kind of sprinkle them on there and pretty lightly, and you'll see like a little bit goes a long ways. So and then just take a spray bottle and just kind of mist it. And I mean, you could just let it sit like that and it'll start to just kind of creep in and out of all of the little cracks and just, you know, do its thing. I kind of like to give it a little bit of help and sort of help it spread around. And I'll just spray a little more water on there. As those crystals dissolve, you get a little bit more workable wet ink. And you know, since it's water based, it does clean up pretty easily. I've used this actually for sort of like coffee dyeing too, when I want to just like darken the coffee bath, I'll add just a little bit of these crystals sometimes. It works pretty well. So that one, and this is kind of what happens if you just leave it and you don't, you know, get it super wet. It turns into like little polka dots that sort of like turn into little stars. I like it. Anyway, but I kind of want this to be more uniform. So just kind of let it trip around. So, and then See, like on this one, how it's got like that one crystal that's just kind of sitting there. I'm going to leave that alone. I might actually add just a tiny bit more water to it so that it dissolves more. But I like the way that looks. So, yeah, so this one, I wanted to get like a really nice dark area in there. So those I'm just going to set aside and let them dry. Just like that. And hopefully these will be dry by tomorrow when we do the live stream. And you guys can see kind of how it turns out. Try to let them dry really flat so that, you know, they sort of stay the way you want them. So these are just some book covers that I've, you know, did some, I did a bunch of cheesecloth on there, glued a bunch of cheesecloth on these, and then painted them with some gold, you know, furniture paint basically. And so I want that to be the inside cover of the book. So just sprinkling on some of the ink. And I'm pretty sure this is made out of walnuts, like black walnuts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but black walnuts definitely will stain. I don't know, I just love the way it looks, you know. And sometimes I'll take another one and sort of, if I've got a little too much water on there, I'll sort of let it just drip off onto something else. Just playing, you know. There. So I've got like these little kind of collections of crystals up here on that side of the board. So I'm just going to leave this one. I'm pretty happy with it like that. And this one too. I'm just going to, these are both just going to stay like that. Yeah. And then do these last two. Now this one, I can't remember. I think I had painted this or something because there's a little bit of a pink hue that's coming through. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't like to throw anything away, so I'll turn it into a book. I just love that. Look how dark that is. So cool. All right, so there's quite a bit of water on this one, so I'm just gonna kind of tap it off on my towel a little bit. So yeah, this is the same thing, and this one has some lace and some burlap and stuff on the what'll be the inside of the book cover. So yeah, so there's a few journal covers that are gonna dry overnight, and hopefully they'll be ready tomorrow, like I said. And then I'll put like a clear coat over them, and then let that dry, and you know, I'll sand around the edges and stuff like that, and kind of clean them up just a little bit, and then just basically do that you know, thing where I create like a new spine using just like a thin piece of mat board, or a thick piece of mat board, and some canvas. So anyways, yeah, so I think about 3 o'clock or so tomorrow Pacific time, we can look at doing a live stream. Should be fun. I was showing Laura earlier, I picked up off of eBay a couple things that I thought were pretty cool. Some tally cards, some old, you know, vintage bridge tally cards. So I thought I'd just show you guys real quick. I think these are really cute. These actually have like a little saying on them. He thinks the deuce is as high as the king. I have no idea what that is supposed to mean, but these are these little tally cards. Because he's always changing suits. Why is Jimmy Walker's games uneven or something? I don't know. Why wouldn't Mussolini make a good bridge player? I don't know. Anyway, because he has a poker face. I think that's... Oh, okay. Oh, because they won't follow his lead. Why doesn't Cal play bridge? Why can't the president play with Congress? I don't know. Anyway, some of these are weird. But here's a couple little like oak leaf designs, and then a couple more little fall patterns and stuff. And I love them with the little tassels. That's the main reason that I bought this lot off of eBay, was because they all have the tassels. So this is a little Springer Spaniel on there. Little bird dog. And there's a little bear. And they're just so cute, you know. Just neat little designs. So, 8 or 10 of those. And then I thought this one was really pretty. Little lady out with a sailboat in the wind. You can tell it's blowing her dress, you know. Anyway, some more bird dogs. Some more little bears. These ones with like a little silhouette. Yeah, there's about, I think there's 8 of those with the tassels. And then there was one of these in each pack of those. And then there's a few other things that came in that lot. There was this set of tally cards that came in there. There's 4 of them, 4 different colors. And you know, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, you would just tear these off as you use them, because this is like a little pad. You know, there's like 20 pages on here or something. So I'll probably use these individually in you know, journal pockets and stuff like that. So then here's some more tally cards, and these are not folded, right? So they go like that, little barn, and yeah, so those. And then this one is super cute. It's like a score sheet. Gosh, I thought it said the year there, but I can't read it. Anyway, so there's the score sheets in here, and then these are the tally cards. Each one of these little little Scotty dogs is a tally card. So and there's pink ones and blue ones, pink tassels and blue tassels. So I thought these were super cute. And look at, so she's like walking all these little dogs. Anyway, so that, and I actually have quite a few more tally cards on the way that have been shipped. So I was really hoping that they would come today, but you know, probably Monday. And if they do, I actually have a whole bunch of stuff that I ordered off of eBay that should be coming on Monday. So I'll definitely make a video and show you guys all the stuff that I got. And I'm watching a lot of glassine envelopes on eBay that I really wanted. So I'll keep you posted on that. And then if I do get it, I'll share with you guys. So anyway, and also I was thinking it would be really cool if you guys would all, you know, whoever wants to kind of get on the list of, you know, like I think we should have some kind of like mailing list or whatever. And I think it'd be really cool if you wanted to send me your address, and that way when I have extra stuff like the little French fry bags and things like that I want to share, I could have your address so I could send you some happy mail. And I would love that if you guys would do that. So if you want to send me your address, if you want, you know, if you want to, pretty sure you can send me a private message on YouTube, but if not, I will put my email address in the description of this video so that you can send it to me privately if you want, or you can always send it to me on Etsy, and it's 2 silver oranges on Etsy, so all one word. But anyway, so not exactly a little tiny short video, but you know, you said you don't mind if I just kind of ramble on. So anyway, I'm looking forward to live streaming tomorrow. I'm super excited about it. And oh, one other thing. All of my Inca Gold has like dried up. And so I had asked a while ago, like a few months ago, if anybody had any ideas about how to soften this up. And so I had a viewer that suggested using paint thinner. So, you know, I just added a few drops of paint thinner to each one of these, and to see if it'll, you know, help kind of bring it back to more of a paste state. I don't know. It's not working so far, but I just did it like 20 minutes ago. So I'm going to let them set overnight and see how they do. And I'll let you guys know if it works, because the stuff dries out if, you know, I don't know how to prevent it, but like these ones I've had the same amount of time and they're not dried out. Like, I don't know. I don't know why that happened. Try to keep the lids shut, but anyway, so if the paint thinner doesn't work, if anybody else has any ideas about how to, you know, reconstitute the Inca Gold, you know, I mean, I've got a whole bunch of them, and I have a really hard time using them now because they've all basically dried up. You know, they're hard as a rock. So I don't know. It's kind of frustrating. I know they have wax in them, but other than that, you know, I just don't know. It's frustrating. So because they're not like cheap. You know what I mean? They're like $6 a piece. Anyways, okay, you guys. Well, hope you have a great night, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Take care. Love you. Bye.